What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This. This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we're finishing up our talks on the Transmutation Wizard. This is going to be our third to last video of all of the 2014 stuff. So this is it's an exciting time to be bringing you this, to be finishing up with that, and then moving on to a new chapter. But before we finish everything up, we got to fix this subclass, right? There are plenty of people still using 2014, so this is still relevant, and so we're going to fix this subclass because it failed our ranking earlier this week. If you missed that, I'll put that up in the iCard above. Before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We just passed 5,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for helping us to get there. We are going to be doing a special very soon. Will be probably not next week since we are going to be doing our last round of Wizard, but it will probably be either the week after that, maybe another week, just to make sure that I get that polished up for you and make sure that that comes out the way I want it to. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to bringing that to you as well. Like we do with all of our subclass fix guides today, I'm going to be, of course, providing a document that kind of spells out all the changes here for you, and that is available to all of my members. So anyone who is a member at any level will get access to this and all of my subclass fixes, as well as my build guides. So you can, of course, check that out by clicking the join button down below. So yeah, I think that is really about it. So let's go ahead and jump in. Of course, like I do with these normally, not going to be really any editing or anything. It's going to be more like a podcast kind of thing. So feel free to pull up another tab or just put headphones in and just listen. So nothing too exciting going on the screen here. So starting off at level 2, we still get 2 features. The first, of course, is Transmutation Savant, and there's no reason to change that. Any of those Savant features that change your copying time and gold, there's no reason to mess with that, so we'll move on from that. But Minor Alchemy, we've changed slightly. The main difference is that instead of it being 10 minutes, it's now going to be an action, and we can now do a number of cubic feet equal to half our proficiency bonus. This, I think, is a bit better here. Before, you could do a number of cubic feet per 10 minutes you spend. So technically it was unlimited, but I don't know. So I mean, technically it's a buff and a nerf in that you could do slightly bigger things at once in an action rather than waiting a lot longer to do something that's bigger. So 9 times out of 10, I think this is going to be a buff. There will be situations where you do want to do something bigger, and that's totally fine. But I think in general, this is going to be a buff. The other buff is going to be that it's going to last for longer. And so it's going to last a number of hours equal to our intelligence modifier, unless we use an action to revert whatever it is back to one of the other substances. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I think that in general, this is going to be a buff. Like I said, there are going to be specific situations where you would like to spend, a few hours trying to do something really big, and you can do that. But and in that case, it's going to be a nerf. But most of the time, you're going to be doing small objects because you're not going to stand there for forever. So I think that this is going to be a buff a lot of the time. So I like that a lot. The Transmuter Stone, for the most part, is the same, at least how mechanically it works. I just added some extra options on there instead. So you still spend 8 hours to make it, and of course, whoever holds on to it gets one of the benefits. And so instead of just con saves, I have expanded it to any saving throw type. So you can take proficiency in any of them, just one. You can't take all of them, but just one of those, you can throw that on there. So of course, Constitution is going to be pretty common, but this opens it up to, if you'd rather have Wisdom or Dexterity or one of the other big ones, this can open that up for you. So I think that's really cool. And then some of the ones that I added. So like I had said, a lot of this felt kind of feat-like in a way. So a lot of this is kind of continuing in that. So you can gain True Sight out to a range of 10 feet. That's part of fighting style. You can get proficiency in one simple weapon of your choice. This would be probably more so if you're giving this to somebody else, maybe not so much for you, but still. Proficiency with light armor, I think that could be useful for sure on a lot of things. And then you could also learn one cantrip from any spell list. Now, there are some restrictions. The cantrip does have to have a casting time of an action and cannot have a range of self, so this cannot be used to pass around Booming Blade to your fighter. We're not doing that. So, but for the most part, this does pass out other cantrips, and so I think that's really good. Intelligence, of course, is going to be the spellcasting modifier, regardless of who is holding the stone, and so I think that's going to be really, really interesting. Besides that, again, everything works the same, except at 10th level in Wizard, a second effect can be used. So I think that's going to be really cool. So, but that it does have to be on your person. You can get 2. If you give it to somebody else, it's still just the 1, even after 10th level. So that's another slight change in there. But again, I think most of the time you're going to want to keep it on yourself. And then I think that just promotes it even more by having a second effect there. Speaking of level 10, we have Shape Changer, and this one is completely redone. This one was not good because it puts Polymorph in your spellbook, which you probably already had 3 levels ago, and then it gave you the ability to just take whatever, and then it just allows you to turn into a tiny beast, a CR1 beast. I don't like it. So with this, we now can, of course, gain Polymorph as a spell in our book. However, if we already have Polymorph, which you do, you can take a different Transmutation spell here. And so that is going to be a lot better. You actually get the option to swap this out for something else because you actually already have Polymorph. Duh. Every Transmutation wizard got it at level 7, so there's no reason why. So this gives you the ability to take an additional one, and of course you have access to 5th level spells now, and so this lets you take something one higher level, which I think is very very helpful there. And so we keep the you can only target yourself. However, you can now choose a challenge rating of no higher than half your wizard level rounded down. So now we get some interesting options here, and I think that's really, really helpful. So already we're at CR5. So that lets you really be the Polymorph champion on yourself. You can do that once per long rest on yourself for free, and then if you wanted to cast it normally otherwise, then you can do so. So definitely a huge buff here. Definitely feels very druidy. It feels like a weird way of doing like wild shape, but it's still very good. And so, like I said, you can go into something that is CR5 right now. When you reach level 12, it goes to 6, and so on and so forth. So I think that can be really good. Caps out at CR10, and there's a lot of options as CR10 once you get up there. Really, really cool. And finally, we get Master Transmuter, and I just added on to this and changed something slightly. This wasn't too crazy, but I think that it's needed for sure. So of course you choose one of the effects. Major Transformation is unchanged. Panacea is buffed, and so now you remove all curses, diseases, poisons, and any of these conditions: blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, or stunned, as well as 1 level of exhaustion with 1 touch. Of course, the creature regains all its hit points. I think that this one really needed that buff, to be honest, because I think we're missing some big things. And it's level 14, right? We might as well get the restoration aspect in there as well. And it deletes your stone regardless, so I didn't get rid of that, even though that's something I didn't really like. I think that it's something that's necessary, but it also means that this needs to be buffed quite a bit, so that's why we went with that. Restore Life is still the same, Restore Youth is still the same, although I think it's not that great. And finally, I added one more called Alter Anatomy, and this one I think is kind of a necessary addition. And this is one that you'll probably use a decent amount, so whenever you use this, you can do one of the following things. You can basically cast Alter Self on that creature, on somebody else if you want to, or whoever is holding the stone. It could be yourself. Now Alter Self, of course, is a pretty low level spell, and so this is probably not going to be your use of it most of the time, unless you just want to burn it, and then you can do it when you wake up again. But It gives you a free spell slot if nothing else, but I think you're probably not gonna use it for this most of the time. A creature regrows or regains function of a limb. Could happen once per 2 or 3 campaigns, maybe. It depends on what kind of rules you're using. Some DMs choose to do limbs coming off during combat. That could be a thing, or you could meet a character that has already happened to, and maybe this will help you out with that. So definitely could come up, although it's very, very niche. So the ones that are not niche, though, are the last 2 options here. The first one is the creature grows wings and gains a flying speed equal to its walking speed for 1d4 hours. That's very useful, right? Concentration, free flight, it's level 14, and now we can give that to somebody else for 1d4 hours. That's really good. That's really, really strong. Or you could give it to yourself. Either way, really, really cool. And the last one, this one I think is what's going to get people in the comments riled up, because it might just be a little broken. Creature gains long claws, which grant it a climbing speed and a burrowing speed. That's right, burrowing speed. There is not really a way of gaining a burrowing speed in Dungeons & Dragons because it is really, really strong. So for a 14th level ability, I think that now might be the time to add that on there. It's still temporary, again, 1d4 hours. Same as the other one, and so we also get to use these claws as a natural weapon, causing unarmed strikes to do 1d6 piercing or slashing damage, whichever that creature decides to use. And the creature then gains proficiency with unarmed strikes. This is the same wording from Alter Self, and the unarmed strikes are also magical and have a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls. I think that one is really powerful, and I think you'll use that one a lot for characters that want to use the burrowing speed. That's really, really good. Of course, this is a once per day thing, so you definitely cannot do this more than once, but you may roll 1 hour and it works great for a little bit, or you may roll 4 hours and you're doing great. So let me know, does this need to go down to 1d4 minutes possibly? That may need to be pulled back a little bit, but yeah, let me know what you think of the changes. I think overall it is definitely a lot stronger and definitely in a much better spot than it was before. It was very underwhelming. And yeah, I think I gave it a 6 out of 10. That may have even been generous, honestly. And I think that there were just some things about it that just didn't quite get there for me. And so I think that I think we've definitely helped it out. If you've got any other suggestions for changes, let me know down in the comments below. And of course, for all you members, make sure to check this out on that page for you all. So yeah, really cool stuff. That is all for today. Of course, next week we are talking about the very last wizard and the very last 2014 subclass. And I'm looking forward to the end of a major chapter here on the channel and the beginning of a new one. Of course, we just started our UNPL Season 6 as well. The live stream and draft analysis went up yesterday, so make sure to check those out. And the Week 1 battle goes up 1 week from yesterday as well. So really, really cool stuff. So until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.